Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 1, a injury time equaliser, ending United's 9-game-in-a-row winning streak. Still a 10-game-in-a-row unbeaten streak, so not the worst result in the world, but one of those results where it's just so deflating. Any last-minute anything just feels shit, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm trying, Joe, to be philosophical.
Go on.
I'm trying to be like, you know what? It's easy for me to lose my mind and go, last-minute equaliser, Casemiro's yellow card for out of the Arsenal game. This is a disaster. Have a little rant and, you know, let off some steam and all that, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that are doing that. But we'll say this. You look at the back end of last season, you look at that game away at Selhurst Park, which was our 6th straight away defeat, and how bad we were. To the point when we were sitting here watching City play Villa, rather than watching us for the last 5 minutes to see if City were going to win the league. And you look at it, we've had 9 wins on the spin. Beat City. We've had a game today where the kid, you put it out in a watch along, he could say that free kick 1,000 times and he don't do that 999 times. But he's done it tonight. The Casemiro booking out for the Arsenal game, I know we'll get to that in a minute, is mega annoying and deflating. But we have had a great run, and I think that there's every reason to believe that Erik ten Hag can still get a win at the Emirates. So whilst I'm annoyed and gutted and all the rest of it, and by all means everyone get involved in the comments, let us know, I still think that, you know, there are reasons to still have a bit of hope going into that game. And I will say this, it's a bit of a reminder, because when you have a run like we've had, you think, we've sorted it, we've cracked it, everything's perfect. We came from a position last season of being the worst Manchester United side I've seen in my lifetime, and I included David Moyes era in that. I do. We were awful. About 20 of the squad were terrible last season. This season, it's the role reverse. Practically everyone's played well. But there's still that reminder that we're not there yet. We're not. We're not at the level where we need to be. And I'm sure that Erik ten Hag knows that. And this is a reminder of that, because if we were, those last 20 minutes, where it wasn't just the fact that Casemiro got booked and we conceded that goal, we kept giving the ball away, we were inviting pressure, there was some, you know, just poor decisions all over the pitch. I think the only ones who covered themselves in glory today, and I feel a bit sorry for them because they deserved the clean sheet, was the back 5. I thought the back 5 played really well. I thought Varane was very good, Martinez was very good, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka in particular were excellent, and De Gea made some good saves, and I don't blame him at all for that free kick. Other than the back 5, I think there was errors in those last 20 minutes all over the pitch.
It's a shame, isn't it? And also, you think what that result actually is. It's the...
I'm just watching... Sorry, I just seen that again. And Varane's covering him as well.
I know.
Varane gets over there if he don't make that tackle, I think.
It's a draw at the end of a 9-game winning run. You can't really ask for much more than that from a team that is, like you said, where we were last season, where we were at the start of this season. That's the thing to remember as well. We didn't come out of the blocks firing. We started this season horrifically, getting battered in back-to-back games by Brighton and Brentford. Like, it's not like it went, right, Ten Hag's in, everything's sorted now. A lot of this improvement has come this season, not like from last season to now. It's happened since the season started. So to expect us to just win every game between now and the end of the season is impossible and not remotely realistic. And when you actually think about how the game went, you know, Palace didn't create too much. We'll get into some stats in a minute, but they didn't create a lot of chances. De Gea had a couple of comfortable saves. One fantastic save, I'll give him that. But it was just a game where it felt as though it was maybe a stretch too far in the end, in it, where, like you said, the last 25 minutes, United, I thought they looked nervous or leggy or a mixture of the two. They didn't quite contain the game that the way you'd expect them to. There were just a few cracks starting to show there. And I think away at Selhurst Park, after a run of games that we've been on, is not the worst place to drop points, and it's the sort of game that historically is always possible. It's just a shame that it's a game that's been sort of stuck in, sandwiched in between these two huge games with City and Arsenal, where you almost think of this one as, all right, okay, you know, huge game against City, beat Palace, huge game against Arsenal. And as we all expected, we all saw before the game started, or we all thought before the game started, that it could be one of those where this is where we come undone, and it's happened. But it could be worse. We didn't lose. It wasn't like United got cut open time and time again. The goal that's gone in, like you said, is such a low percentage chance. And we're seeing that McTominay penalty claim again there. I don't see any evidence that their player touches the ball there.
No, I don't think he does. I think that's a penalty.
I think it should be a penalty. But
I think it's one of those where you probably argue it's a bit of a soft penalty, but it's still a penalty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's still, by the letter of the law, a penalty.
Yeah.
And I think that's the frustrating thing. And the most annoying thing tonight, well, one of the most annoying things is, in the last minute, Casemiro just has to stick his leg out a bit more. It literally, it's like he goes to head it and then it sort of touches his thigh. If he just sticks his thigh out for that corner, we get a last minute winner from the boy, and we're probably not even that sort of, because we're so buzzing with one, we're probably not that bothered about his yellow card, or we're not focusing on that.
Yeah.
I think what sort of exacerbated the fact that we're missing him is the fact we've dropped these 2 points, because it does feel like 2 points dropped. You're right, Selhurst Park is a bit of a banana skin, and it's one of those games where a point at Selhurst Park isn't a disaster.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. It's the nature of that.
Yeah.
If we'd have scored a last minute equaliser, me and you were sat here buzzing.
Yeah.
But because we led for most of the game, because we looked so comfortable after the first hour, it's only, 70 minutes. Excuse me, I'd say. And it's weird because I just feel like tonight, maybe a little reminder of how reliant we've got on becoming Marcus as well, because he probably had his worst game in a long time. I don't know if he was carrying a knock or he didn't look himself. The lad Weghorst has come in, done all right in the first half, not done a lot, done okay. And I just feel that that's a sort of a little worry I've had over the last sort of couple of months with United is we are very reliant on Marcus.
Yeah.
And it's like, if he doesn't step up with a goal, you worry sometimes where the goals are coming from. And Garnacho, who is effective, he didn't really get much time to do anything. He was quite sort of direct when he came on. And it's just one of those, really. I just feel like players like maybe Anthony, I know he obviously came off, can do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe once Weghorst has got into the Premier League again a bit more, we'll see a little bit more from him. But yeah, going into the Arsenal game, my main concern is that, because we know Casemiro's not playing, that we need to move on from that. But get Marcus fit, because he doesn't. It's something. Maybe you pointed out that injury got in the derby. Maybe he's carrying that a little bit, and hopefully get Martial back involved as well. Because whilst we're all, we all get the Weghorst signing, for me, if Anthony Martial is fit, that is a better option than Wout Weghorst. No disrespect to the kid.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to that Arsenal game, I think it comes down now to, we're going to have to see what we saw from Ten Hag against City, which was a tactical outdoing of Arteta. And we'll talk about that in a second. But before that, we've had Adam McCullough chatting on Last Fan Standing about that game, about Arteta and Ten Hag. Who is the better manager? Who would you take out of the two? Let's hear what he had to say on Bet Victor's Last Fan Standing.
Ten Hag or Arteta, obviously Arsenal flying, took 4 years to get there, but doesn't matter. They are where they are now. Ten Hag has transformed United. Is it? What do you think?
I think
the ceiling is higher.
Arteta's done a lot better than I ever imagined, but I wouldn't swap Ten Hag for anyone. And Arsenal fans would say the same about Arteta. City fans would say the same about Pep. But you got to remember, this is his first season. Look at the improvement he's done to this Manchester United team. Last season, people were saying we were 4 or 5 years away from challenging City, and that is with us getting the right manager in place first. I think we finally got the right manager in place. I think the great thing about it for me is he's a manager that likes to control games, likes to dominate possession and all those things. And in some games where we aren't able to do that, he's shown a tactical flexibility that I like to see from him. He's not just stuck to his own way and rigid in his own style of football. And I think you need to be that way in the Premier League. But I think it's been spot on. I think he's been spot on. Perfect. I love him. I wouldn't swap him for anyone, no.
So that was Adam McCullough for Last Fan Standing. Get involved in the chat in there. There's a link in the description. Go over there. Say that Stretford Paddock sent you. Let us know if you agree with Macca. Macca's saying he wouldn't swap Erik Ten Hag for anyone. No. Now that seems like a bold statement when you've got some of the managers you've got in the Premier League or elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I think Erik Ten Hag, I think Macca's spot on. He's right. He's up and coming. He's getting the best out of this team. His signings are making sense. Everything, these drop points aside, is coming together. Yeah. I think we've got the right manager for the job, so I agree completely with what Mac is saying.
I think including these drop points,
Yeah.
he's everything.
Yeah, I mean, this
like,
is
he's got
almost irrelevant.
Ten Hag has got the best winning ratio of any Manchester United manager ever. I know he's, do you know what I mean? I know he's only played like 25 games, so obviously it doesn't count. He's not better than Fergie. I'm not saying he's not better than Busby. I'm obviously not saying
I'm really disappointed that you've qualified that.
Yeah,
I wish you hadn't. I wish we could, for once, clip you up,
Yeah.
and it could be like Joe Smith said Ten Hag's better than Busby and Fergie. Big thank you to BetVits and Last Man Standing. Go and check them out. They're always doing some good stuff there.
Yeah.
And we're at this weird point at the minute where it's almost like every fan on there has got a case to make their manager is the best or their manager is the one that they'd want. So go and get involved and let us know, and let them know what you think about that, and whether you agree with Macca or not, or whether you want to tell the other fans on there that are talking rubbish. There's a link in the description.
Tim Sim says, sucks when this was supposed to be a good win in a banana skin game, but ended up with a demoralising draw and one of our most vital pieces for facing Arsenal this Sunday being suspended. Second half was lacklustre. Nick Tannehill says, feels like I'm in a war and I've just been shot.
Feels like a what?
I'm in a war and I've just been shot. I think
very
people,
Stephen Howson type comment.
I think anyone that has been in a war and shot would say that was worse than this. But, right up there. Jason K says, Palace was so bad, get a free kick with a wonder goal. We dominated them today and should have had a penalty. Maybe we needed this drop to wake us up. We've also got Tolawasali, says, feel like the attack dies when Anthony gets the ball. Marshall says, this feeling of losing only 2 points is crucial. Should remind ourselves we didn't have this feeling for a long time. It reminds us how far we've come. I want to get into some stats because there's a couple of people who I want to highlight here. And statistically, one of them isn't necessarily dominating proceedings, but I thought he was fantastic tonight, and that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I thought his tackling, his presence, his passing, he brought the ball through the lines very well. That tackle at the end on Zaha, but that wasn't the only one. There was one in the first half on Zaha as well. He was one-on-one. He got the better of him. I genuinely thought that he had a sensational game tonight, and it would be unfair on him not to mention that. I think we've got a quote as well from Zaha after the game talking about Wan-Bissaka. So this was Zaha on whether he could have won it at the end. He said, if it was any other player, as I was running through, I had a little look back and thought, oh my God, it's Aaron. He's the only one that can do that scoop tackle. That's a compliment, that.
Do you think that, I know he's been, slightly, there's a little bit of hyperbole there, but Wan-Bissaka is like the only player I see do that tackle. I don't see any other players doing that tackle.
No, honestly, and I've said this before, and I said this even when he was bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like now he's doing well again. When he's at his best, he's one of the best slide tacklers I've ever seen.
I agree.
It is almost inhuman how sort of perfect his slide tackles are and have been for obviously years. It's mad, really. The consistency with his slide tackling is amazing.
I've never seen anything like it. The timing of it is perfect, because in this day and age, more so than ever, you cannot get away with mistiming that. Like, if this was 1993, you could be about 2 minutes late and you'd still get away with it, because referees were invariably 80 yards away.
Fatting at the other end of the pitch.
They were having a cig.
Yeah.
There was no VAR. Also, strikers were a bit tougher, so wouldn't roll around on the floor as much. Yeah. So you probably, you'd have got away with it. Now, though, you've got VAR, refs are on it, players know that they go down, especially in the box, they're likely to get a penalty because of VAR, unless they're Scott McTominay, obviously. And he has to be perfect with it, and he is perfect with it. Now, the problem with Aaron Wan-Bissaka has never been about his tackling. It's been things like he's sort of playing out from defence, his decision-making on the ball when he's coming out of defence, and when he's got the ball in sort of the middle of the pitch. And I'd say his confidence seems to have shot.
Yeah, massively.
Been shot. Yeah, this is a player who, going into those friendlies during the World Cup against Cadiz and Real Betis, people were surprised when he even got a game then. And they're going, you know what? I think he's done. He's going to go back to Crystal Palace, or he's going to go West Ham will link with him. United will take a loss with him on him or whatever. And now you look at it and you go, I think if he carries on the way he is, him and Delo, I think could be good enough for us. Honestly, and I know people go, we've been linked with Denzel Dumfries, been linked with the kid, is it Jeremy Frimpong, and players like that. Yeah. I think you buy Denzel Dumfries, are you guaranteed he's going to be better than what you've got with Delo and Wan-Bissaka?
Certainly not if he's performing like that.
I don't think you are.
That's the thing.
Do you know what I mean? I know you might argue he's a better player, but he's coming into the Premier League, it's not easy. No. And also Wan-Bissaka's young, and he's coming into a situation where you've got, and I know this might sound like I've gone early on Ten Hag, but I think he'd already proved it. An elite coach.
Yeah.
Now, I loved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I did. As a player, and there was a time as a United fan I had my best enjoyment for a while with him as manager. But I was never under the idea that he was an elite coach that could get the best out of these players. That he could get players that were good and turn them into great. With Ten Hag, I think he can. I think we see it in him. That he's got something there where he can just get players up to another level. Yeah. He's done it with Marcus. He's done it with Luke Shaw. He's done it with McTominay for a spell as well. You know, during those first few months when he was playing, or that you know, before Casemiro started games. And I think we've seen it with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So he's only, 24, 25, is he? Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah.
Like, if he carries on like that, I don't think you can ignore that performance.
No,
I don't want to get too carried away, but we've seen it now against City and tonight, back to back, fantastic performances.
Speaking of can't ignore that performance, it's my only thought about Casemiro, or the main thought is fucking hell, he's missing Sunday. But I want to go into some of the stats of his performance tonight because it is ludicrous, some of the numbers. So looking at his ball recoveries. So basically, how many times he won the ball back for United, whether that's interceptions, tackles, 14 times, more than anyone else on the pitch. Tackles, a decent number of tackles per game, average 3 or 4 tackles per game is excellent. 8 completed tackles today. 8 out of 8 as well, so he didn't miss a single tackle. Most for defensive aerial duels, second most for headed clearances, or equal most for headed clearances, apologies. He just does everything. He literally does everything when it comes to the defending side of the game, and it's just ridiculous. Chances created. He created the 3rd most for United today. Like, it's genuinely sensational. He's 5th most for passes as well, so he's always on the ball. But those defensive numbers, 14 ball recoveries and 8 tackles out of 8, is genuinely ridiculous. Most interceptions as well for any United player. Like, just brilliant. It's just a brilliant performance. Most clearances, most headed clearances as well. And it's a shame that we're going to focus obviously on him missing the game on Sunday, but I just wanted to highlight statistically what a brilliant defensive game he had again tonight. And we are obviously going to miss it. We've got a few super chats. Danny says, United 3 games in 7 days, 2 of which was against the top 2. Looking at the league fucked us. Players still look tired from the City game, in control but lacked energy. Mark Hatton says, feel like a big punch in the gut. Felt like a win tonight would have put us right in the hunt, but it shows we need to learn to kill games off. Tim Sim says that could have ended our title shot, but still not the end of the world yet in terms of ending our silverware drought this season. Top 4 is secure and in our hands. Saji Madej says joint second in the league, cheer up. Jibak says I like that we'll be total underdogs on Sunday. And Dawood says Rashford's selfishness killed us today, ignored people multiple times just to go and lose the ball. And Kazmofo says draw means there's still work to do, disappointing. Everyone draws. You can't win every single game for a whole season. So unfortunately, that's what's happened. We can see there the Premier League table. United in 3rd, played a game more than Arsenal and City there, so slightly skewed, but same points and same games as Newcastle, now a point ahead of them as well, which is good. But it's not the end of the world, is it?
I mean, let's have it right. Yeah, it's deflating and I'm annoyed at what's gone on, but earlier on in the season, if you'd have said by sort of the halfway stage we'd be 3rd, all right, played one more game but level on points with Manchester City, I'd have said you were crazy. Yeah. So it's not like a disaster this season. In fact, it's going in the right direction, and there's lots of reasons to be cheerful. And I think if we get anything out of the game on Sunday, which I think we can do, then we can be positive about that. Do you know what I mean? It's annoying the nature of this game, the way sort of 80 minutes onwards panned out. Even to the point of like that last minute where Casemiro just bounces off his leg, I think. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Very 3 yards out and it just goes in that sort of no man's land between knee and chest, doesn't it?
It's just one of them where, do you know what I mean? He probably didn't know whether to head it or to kick it and did neither. Yeah. But I think that whilst it is annoying, this season and that man, you can't see him, Erik Ten Hag, I trust him. He knows what he's doing.
Me too.
And I wouldn't count us out against Arsenal. Arsenal are bottlers anyway. They'll probably bottle it. Shitbags.
Fantastic. Right, thank you very much for joining us. Crystal Palace won, Manchester United won. A last minute perfect free kick from Crystal Palace stops United going on their 10th win in a row. No Casemiro on Sunday, but do you know something else, Jay? Every single time we've ever beaten Arsenal, and we've done it a lot, Casemiro has not started the game in any of them. So let's just do it again.
Where was he in that semi-final in 99?
Don't know, because fucking Giggsy was too busy scoring.
8-2, he didn't even get a goal.
Exactly.
Pathetic.
Yeah. So let's do it again without Casemiro. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Jay, for coming on.
Thanks as well to Last Man Standing Bet of it, to go and check that out. The link in the description. Thanks to you as well, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Pulled another super shift today, so
thank you to everyone at home. Hit like, hit share, and hit subscribe, and we'll see you in a bit.